Okay. So actually the plan was to take 1 2 hour session on Sunday, but somehow we couldn't do it. Anyhow, we will try to take 2 sessions today and tomorrow on the framework part. So before I start, right, so how is your preparation going on? Like, did you go through all the class notes and did you start practicing it? Yes, no.
Yes, sir, started.
I started practicing, yes.
Okay, and what about the interviews? Did you upload the resume?
The interviews actually, like someone informed, like we need to submit the course completion certificate. So we are waiting for that. So once we get
Okay.
the course completion certificate, we can start attending for interviews.
Okay, okay. So actually, we are also planning to start a. I told you right. I want to give some inputs on the manual testing batch. So actually, the Quality Thoughts is starting one batch for manual testing. So it means a course with manual and a Selenium with Python. They will start in a week or so. So what I would suggest is you people join that batch. Okay. Either it would be free or they may charge some nominal fee for manual testing for you. And for the new batch, I think they're charging around 15 to 18,000. I don't know the exact amount, but for you it will be hardly 2,000, or I'll ask them to give free of cost to you people. Okay, just I'll talk to them, and you attend that batch so that you'll get some idea on the manual testing part. Okay, so because that is also very important to learn. Fine. So I hope you have gone through all these controls, right? What you have seen, everything you are comfortable. And PyTest framework, only 1 or 2 students attended. I don't know why others have missed it. Go through my recording session. Basically, one of the person was asking me, how do you run the test? Test in parallel or test in sequence, right? This is how I've already explained this. This is how when you have a test, right? This is how we can run the test. So go through this. Still, if you have any questions, we can have one doubt clarification and close it. And I want to one of the person was asking about the project, right? So give me one live project so that I can work on it and get that confidence. Okay. So there is one project. Okay, let me show you that project. Okay. So this is the documentation of that project. Okay. And second. This is the live, like you can access this application from your internet portal. So I'll ping you this link. Okay, I'll ping you this link, and the credentials are already given here, admin and admin 123. Let me open this. Okay, you can log in. Okay, you can use this how you log in and you get all the details. Okay, what does admin do? What are the admin actions, and how do they create users? This is a project, a sample project for learning. How do I create a user, and how do I create a job titles? Okay, and how do I add qualifications? All these things you will get some idea. Okay, what this project is all about is clearly documented. Like what does admin module contain? Like it contains leaves, time module. All these things have been step by step clearly documented. Go through them. Okay, if you try to understand, like clearly they have explained. Okay, just how do I create this one? So this is how when you join the organization, right? They will give you the same way. They'll give you one document and they'll ask you to work on that particular document. Okay, so understand this, and any questions, we'll planning to set up one doubt clarification session if required, and I'll discuss this now. So before that, you have to go through it, and also there is all the test cases for this particular project. Okay, what are different test cases and how do you check them, and how do you check the elements? Everything has been clearly documented, and go through them, like how how we do it, and there are also some scenarios. Okay, what are the different scenarios you are going to, which everything I have shared in the WhatsApp group. And also like we have something like while testing this application, right, you may get some defects. How to log the defects are also have been explained you. And there is something like a test plan document also I've shared. Your job is not to create a test plan document, but you should know what is a test plan document, what it contains. All these things have been clearly documented here. Okay. So this is about the project. Go through it. You cannot complete in a one class or two classes, but it will take some time, maybe 5 hours or 10 hours. If you spend on it right, then you will be in a position to complete it. Okay. Now we'll see a concept called as framework. Okay. So there are many frameworks available in the market, like data driven, keyword driven, these things. But the most popular and the widely used framework is the page object model framework. Okay. It is called as POM, page object model. Okay. In simple terms, if you go and search, okay, page object model. If you search, once again, okay, look at here. What does page object model says, till now, what we are doing it. If you look at our examples, right, like I created one class. Okay, I created one class. In that class, I created one method and I was calling that method. Okay, this is what I was doing it. Like there is a class, in the class, there are methods, and there's a test method as well as web elements. So interaction takes place between the web elements and the test method in the same class. Okay. But what the page object model says is don't use the same class for your web methods as well as test methods. Create two different classes. One class will contain all the web methods. Other class will contain all the test methods. Okay. So why should we do this means, what is the advantage of doing this is, let's say if you are following this method, web method and the test method, there's a duplication of the web elements. Okay. Like if you want to create 20 tests, right? 20 times you have to repeat the web elements in that class, which is not correct. And also if one of the element gets updated, then you have to make changes in the 20 classes, which is practically not possible and a high maintenance cost is involved. So in order to overcome that, we go to a concept called as page object model. 90% of the companies uses page object model only. Okay. So if you want to understand page object model, right? So you have to understand how a normal project works, and how can we convert that normal project into page object model framework. Okay. So for that purpose, we'll look at this project, open source hrmlive.com. Okay, we'll see this project. Okay, for example, if they give you this project or live.com, okay, this is what I'm getting it here. So generally, what I need to do, I need to identify my elements, right? I need to identify, this is what I was doing. Okay, go to selector. So this is how This is what my element is. I have username I have so that I can identify, and for password. So I have password. ID is not there, but name field is there. And similarly, login is there. Okay, this is having this is the one now. Type is equal to submit. And okay, button type is called submit. I can identify these three elements, right? So the normal way of doing it is I'll create one file, a Python file. Okay, file, new Python file, let's say login. Okay, I'll create like this. So generally, what I have to do, the same thing that what we are doing earlier also, right? I have to import the WebDriver from which module I have to import it from the Selenium module. So let's import it from Selenium, import WebDriver. Okay, and what is my command driver dot get? Okay, this is my URL, right? Okay, so before that, what I need to do is I need to give my driver location, launch a driver, and try to get the basic. Like, all these things I need to do, implicit wait, all these things I have to do. Okay, so I'm making this we already discussed earlier, right? So this is what I'm doing it. I'm giving the driver location. Basically, spaces should be removed. My base URL is this. Okay, driver dot get base URL. Let's see. Ideally, what it should do is it should maximize a window and it should launch this particular browser. Let's see whether it's able to do this or not. Okay, it is going to that particular location and it is launching the browser. Okay, it is able to do this. Fine. Now I need to identify these elements. Okay, I need to identify these elements, right? What is the first element? Username. Inspect. Okay, I have name. Okay, then I'm going to identify driver dot find element by dot name. I need to import this, right? By class also I need to. Okay, by dot name. Okay, and which is my username. Okay, sorry. Uh, which is my function. This is what we know, right? username dot send keys. And what value I need to enter? I need to enter a value called as admin. This will be in double quotes. Okay. Similarly, I'll try to find out password and I'll give the password. And also submit button. So find element by password. Password and what is the value password contains? Contains admin one. And then I need to click on the submit button, right? Which is an XPath. Okay, there is a class. Can go with the relative part button is equal to XPath. This value I'll copy. By XPath. Dot click. I need to click on that particular button. So ideally what it should do is it should log in into that particular page. And finally, I have to close the browser. Driver dot close. And I can insert driver dot quit to completely quit and then print test completed. Okay. I'm writing time dot sleep here so that you can see the output. Wait for 5 seconds. Let's run this code and see. So it's entering the data. It is logging in there. Okay, and it is also closing the application. Okay. So what we want to do is again enter main in 1, 2, 3 enter. Okay, don't click on save password. And I will click on this particular link. And I click on this link, I get logout. I need to inspect this particular thing. Go to see, there is something called as this one. This is the value. Okay. So how they're trying to get it? They're trying to get it with this value. Or is this a link? No, it's not a link. Okay. Trying to get this value. Paragraph class name, they're getting this value. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to find it by. So after it takes some time to load the page, right? We'll give time dot sleep of 5. Then again, driver dot find element by dot xpath, give this value dot click. Once you click on it, it opens a link. Okay. It is a link, right? So you can click on this a link logout, and you can close it. Driver dot find element my dot link text dot click. This will log out of the page. Let's see whether it is working properly or not. Okay, it is clicking on logout. Okay, so generally what we do is you place everything this in a class. Okay, that's what we were doing here, right? Like if I'm working with drop down, right? I create a class and I create a test method, and then I call an object of that particular class. So all these days, this is what we are seeing. Okay, I'll create a class called as login demo, and this is a method which contain all the okay. This is the test method which contains all the information, and now I need to create an object of this particular class. This is how I'm going to create an object of this particular class. This value is a function column tab. This is correct only. I think it should be space. See what is error. Exported intentional block after the class definition at line number 6.
It,
Sorry. Achha, this should be in the
def should be inside.
yes, correct. So the same thing. This is what we have been doing all these days. It's deployed in a local system, so it is taking more time to load the page. Click on all colleagues and it will log out. Okay, but what does page model say? Don't do like this. Like don't create a single class. Okay, and the communication should not take place in this manner. That's what the page update model will say. Okay, before that, just make a note of this program or take a screenshot of this program. Okay, and we'll make some changes to it and slowly proceed further. Okay. Once you have written, just ping me completely. Okay, screenshot taken. Okay. Are we good? Shall I make changes to this code? Yes, no?
Okay, sir.
Okay. See, I explained this PyTest framework. I'm not sure whether you have attended this or not. So basically, I need to import this module, and I have something called as a setup method and actual test method. Okay, if you have not attended, just refer to my video. You will get some clarity. And similarly, there is one more framework called as not it's a framework which is called a unit test framework. Okay, so if you look at here, unit test Python. This is called as a unit test. Okay. So how do I convert this into a unit test means same thing. I need to give it as import unit test. This is a normal way of doing it, right? So I'll create one more class. Okay. Python file. I'll call it as login unit test. Okay. Copy this code. Okay. So what does unit test contains is there are some methods like setup and tag on. Get that. Okay, look at here. There is a method called as setup. Okay. There's a method called as setup. The purpose of this method is it is like a prerequisite. The way we have it in our PyTest, right? In PyTest also we have a method called as setup. Okay. So it is called as a setup class, not setup. It is called a setup class. So let's see whether I have this particular login. I'll call it as a login unit test. Okay. And it is inheriting some properties called as unit test dot test case. From this class, I'm getting all the methods. Okay. Inheritance concept from this class, right? I have all my methods. Okay. Like init method and basically add clean, all these methods are there. There's a method called as tear down. There's a method called as setup. There's a method called as setup class. Okay. I have a method called as setup class, which is a class method. Okay, let's take this. So inside it, I have a method called as, it is a setup method. Okay. So inside this setup method, what is the prerequisite required? I'll place it in the setup method. Okay. Whatever is required, I'll place it in the setup method. Okay. And you can refer it with this class variable. What I mean to say is CLS dot, you have to refer like this. You have to refer it with class variable. Okay, driver location also you can refer. Yeah. It's not required. Okay. Now, since you have created and this is your actual test. Okay, what is the purpose of the test where you are going to perform it? I'm going to call it as test underscore login underscore valid. And it will make use of self because I'm referring that. This is what we have seen when we are discussing about our class concept. Okay, if you remember, so I have to replace it with self dot Like this, I have to refer it. Where our driver is there. Okay, this is how I refer it. It says what is okay. Should match actually. Fine. And what I'll do is I'll create one more method called as tire down. Okay. So how do I know I have to create a tire down is it's already available in this particular function. Like tire down class is there, right? This is the method I have to create. Okay. So I'll create a tire down method. So set up class. Okay. And it's a class method. I'm creating tire down class method. And the purpose of this is to quit the class level, right? Is correct only. Okay. Finally, you have to put like this. You have to use this method to run the program. This is mandatory because it will tell what is your main method. Not sure why is intention. All right, it's just a case. Okay, fine. Base location is correct only. Let's see what is error I get. 1 second. Class method is also correct. Okay, it should be space and class method. This is also correct only. Class method. Let's run this. I'm running it. It should run as a unit test, not as a PyTest. Okay, so modify run configuration. One second. If I run, what is the let's see. Does not match with the outer indentation. Okay, some spacing issue. This is my class. Okay, inside this class, I have the indentation, right? Line number 19. It shows there, it shows line number 19. It's like there's no error only.
Sir, the first definition and the second definition indentation is incorrect.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh, it's coming under def. Huh? Okay, one second. It's a class level method. Could exactly come under this one. Okay. Now we are good. There are no errors. Let's see. Okay, it is working fine. And similarly, I want to create one more test, okay, which talks about invalid scenario. Okay, this test 01 is valid. Is how I create a skill. 02 is invalid login. Okay, so let's say I'm giving admin 124. Whenever I'm giving admin 124, what should happen? Should fail. Admin 124 I've given. So it fails and it is showing one message called as invalid credentials, right? This is the one. Control F. Text equal to this. Oh, this is my invalid. I'm able to identify, right? This is how I'm able to identify with XPath. So I can take even P here. Okay. This is my text error message. Okay. So what I'll do is wantedly I'll click and give a wrong value, and I have to identify this. This is nothing but this value. Okay. This is how I identify it. This is how I identify this particular value. And then if I'll try to pass, right now I'm not asserting anything, but I have to ideally assert it. Okay. So now there are two tests for me. Let's see how to run both the tests. So it has executed both the tests. Okay. Invalid credentials also it got executed. Okay. So why does it fail? Yeah. Just clicking on it. Okay. This I'm going to print. No such element found. Okay. Invalid credentials dot text. Let's see whether it will work or not. I'm running only this test. Not identifying it. And let's take this path only. Copy. Okay. So basically I'm trying to display that message. Okay. Right now you cannot see this message because test has failed. The test passes, you can see this message. So I'm going to store this in one variable. Okay. Okay, message I'm going to store. Message is equal to this one, and I'm going to validate it. How do I validate? I use asset. Asset dot equal. PyTest asset. Yeah, did we use any of these things? set like this. First one is message, which is actual value and should match with expected value. What is my expected value? This is my expected value. Let's see if whether it is matching or not. Okay. Okay, both are matching. Okay, if you look at here, both are matching. That is the reason why it passed. Wantedly, I will fail it. Okay, I am giving invalid credentials one, then it will fail. And I will run both the test. This is how our unit testing will, PyTesting will work. Okay, wantedly, I am failing my test. I am saying that this was the text from the application. This is the expected value. Both are failing. So this is how you get the result. Okay. Now, this is the normal way of doing it, right? It's not the page object way. So what I'm doing, I'm having a class and having methods and also web element methods and test methods. Now, what I want to do is I want to separate them. Okay. I want to separate them. For that purpose, what I'm going to create is I'm going to create something called as pages. Okay, I'm going to create something called as pages. In in this one, I'm going to create one file calling as login page. Okay, in this I'm going to create one page called as login page and say I'll write class and login page. I'm going to write and we need to initialize a class, right? So init method is what we use to initialize a class. Okay. If you are following my old Python notes, right, there I've clearly explained the init method. Okay, so I'm writing def init, and I want to declare one driver object. Okay, and what are my elements? What are my elements here? These are my 3 elements, right? Okay. Okay, these are my 3 elements. So how I'm identifying it? I'm identifying with my usernames and passwords, right? So let me remove this. It is called as username is one field. And what file is it? It is text box. And how I'm identifying it? I'm identifying with name. And this value I'll pass. Okay. Similarly, I have a field called as password. Password, what is it? Is a text box. How I'm identifying it? By using name property. Okay. Similarly, I have button. So button, that is login button. Login underscore button by XPath. How am I identifying it? By XPath is equal to this value. Since I'm using a self variable, I need to write self dot. Okay, is this clear till here what I'm talking? Now, this is the, by using a unit test, I'm writing the test cases. Is this clear? But we should not follow this method. We need to follow page object model method. Okay. So what I'll do is I will take tomorrow also, same time 7 to 8, and I'll complete the pending concept of page object model. In the meantime, you can go through the document which I'm sharing, which I've already shared.